A walk among the stars, the monsters, the paranormal, and supernatural. Join your tour guides, Justin and Josh, on this cryptic journey through life and beyond. What you may not know is you've been on this journey for a long time, and you finally arrived. Join us and our cult by subscribing to this podcast and giving us a generous 5-star rating. With doing so, your soul will be set and the afterlife defined. Welcome to It's Cryptic Out There.
It was a roller coaster of emotions for people in court today. Isi Etute is now a free man after a jury found him not guilty of second-degree murder. The jury deliberated for nearly 3.5 hours. After handing down the verdict, Etute and his family immediately started crying and hugging one another. The prosecutors declined to comment. Outside court, Etute's lawyer, Jimmy Turk, admitted that he was surprised by the verdict because he said it's tough to predict what 12 people are going to decide. He did say he feels bad for the Smith family, but said he believes the jury made the right decision.
I'm happy he will not be wearing an ankle bracelet.
Turk said that Etute now has his life back and can pursue his dream of playing football.
Welcome back to another episode of It's Cryptic Out There. I'm your host, Justin. With me, I have my co-host, Josh Farrell.
What's up, all my ghouls, gas, and witches?
He is currently quarantined because he had COVID. So,
we're on the rebound now, baby.
yeah, he's feeling better now.
Being in the studio is just too much.
Right.
It's still too much.
You come for one time and then now you dip. Yeah. But we also have my OG co-host from Unhelpful Advice, all the way back to Dumb Sons of Bitches.
That's what I remember it as.
Yeah,
Steve Stevers.
yeah, I'm here. I've been called in for reinforcements
Yes.
on this episode here.
It's
It's a big one.
It's a big one because we covered this on the other podcast, Unhelpful Advice, because it was a part of our lives for several years.
The streets remember Angie Renee.
Yeah. Yes.
It's a good way to put
You
it.
guys have definitely a different... Because I was very surprised. Like, I had no idea that this was going on.
Right. Did you ever get a message from the infamous Angie account?
No, I didn't. That was just like, never was in my realm. I never saw that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for the people that don't know and who haven't listened to our biggest episode that we did on Unhelpful Advice, it's the story about a catfish account called Angie Renee that would match or message young men.
And when we say young men, the age range is from about 16 to about 30.
Yeah. And we were 18, 19, 20 at the time when we first started discovering this
Oh,
catfish
wow.
account. Yeah, so it was way back, and we're 26, 27 now.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah.
I'm still 25. What are you talking about?
Speak for yourself, old man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm old as dirt now. So, we want to give a little backstory on that before the big news that came out last year, but then the trial happened this past week. And it was a quick trial. It was a lot quicker than I thought.
I don't know if the jury had, a very stacked weekend of Memorial Day plans that bled into the next week, but they seemed to decide pretty quickly.
Yeah. Don't you agree, Josh? Do you think it was
I mean, come on. Johnny Depp's in a defamation case that's lasted 6 whole weeks. We've got a potential hate crime that lasted 3 days.
Murder.
You know, though, when you think about it, in the eyes, like, in the justice system, like, court cases and such really are, like, just for the public. Everything's decided behind the doors, behind closed doors, between lawyers and judges, unless you have a jury trial and everything, which is what this was. But, I mean, I don't know. This isn't like, this isn't Johnny Depp or Amber Heard, you know? Nobody really... The only people I think who really care are the people who live here and are kind of impacted by it or have some sort of
skin in the game. Skin in the game.
Yeah.
Do what?
We have skin in the game with this because of our previous experiences with this Angie Renee gal.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, and plus it happening on Tech campus, like, I think if this were to happen in Giles, I don't know if it would be as a big deal because, you know, Izzy was a football player. I mean, there's just so much that makes it, you know, I got an ESPN breaking news.
Yes, I got that as well. I was shook.
I got that. So that shows you how much of a scale this is, but also I don't know if it's not Johnny Depp and not Amber Heard, I guess.
Yeah. Well, for the people who don't know what exactly we're talking about, a 18-year-old Isimaimi, how do you say his name? Isiman. We call him Izzy because that's easier. 18-year-old Isi Etute was a 18-year-old college football player at Tech, Virginia Tech, and
technically he enrolled early, so he would have been a senior in high school if he didn't enroll early.
Okay.
So he was an 18-year-old who had gotten to Virginia Tech early.
So he would be now his first year of college over. Wow. But when he was on campus for this encounter, he was basically a high school graduate. So he has potential to be, you know, great football wise.
Probably not after this, but
not after this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they brought him in early.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. He was obviously a prospect, so they figured he had a chance, you know.
Yeah. Well, he, you know, as young men do, get on these dating apps, and he came across the infamous Angie Renee account.
Poor kid.
And before we get to what exactly happened, let's take it back to when we first encountered this account and who we thought it was. Steve, you're the first one to, I guess, before me.
Well, I wasn't the first.
No, not the first, but before
even
me.
in the friend group. But yeah, one of the earlier ones to start. Well, it starts with a request.
Yeah.
A friend request on Facebook. See, he got her on Tinder.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone I know got her on Facebook, not even Instagram. It was all Facebook. Because this was like 2016.
Yeah, it was back in the day.
What a crazy year that was, by the way. And as soon as...
the last good year we had.
And as soon as you add her as a friend, you get shot a message instantly. It's right there. It's very provocative. It's very
vulgar.
It's, hey, let's meet up tonight. You just added me as a friend on Facebook. Let's meet up tonight.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of rhetoric. And so, you know, early in those times, me and my buddies were like, oh, this is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
No woman comes across as that easy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No woman. There's got to be a little effort in one of the two sides to make that happen.
There's no conversating. It's just
no. There is no conversation.
Yeah.
If that was a real woman, you'd at least have to stop by a vending machine and get like a Twinkie and a Coke.
Right.
Show up to the house and be like, all right, hey, we're ready. I got you something. At least.
I mean, put in some effort.
Right.
So we were.
You should have been. That's number one right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were always skeptical because we were like, no woman is this easy.
Right.
Instead of climbing a mountain, you're just walking up a small step.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we obviously think twice about situations like this, but some, vulnerable,
Naive kids
will be like, oh, okay.
And then the power of lust, it will make you do anything.
Hey, yes.
I mean, wars have been fought over women, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So, you a young, impressionable young man, 18 years old.
Yep.
You gotta. And Josh?
You're out of high school, you're on a college campus, right? You're on a college campus, not even out of high school. You're like brought in almost, I would feel like I'm in first class. Like, man, the football team wants me here. I'm 18 years old. Like, this is great. I got the world at my fingertips,
Yeah.
You might start dipping into a little bit of that, seeing what's out there to offer.
Everybody wants me. Okay.
What's crazy is they think a snow bunny's messaging them.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what we thought back in the day.
So, what do you remember the first time that this account messaged you?
The first time, no. There were several times.
Yeah.
Because what you'll do is you'll heckle this account.
Yeah.
If you know it's fake.
Mm-hmm.
They'll stop for a while and then they'll message you again, and then it'll happen. You know how it went.
Yeah.
You were there.
Yeah.
You were watching UFC fights on the couch with us when we would be like, somebody message Angie.
It was literally, I'll say it to this audience, we were all watching, it was a group of people at Steve's house and we were watching UFC, and I get a Facebook request from an Angie Renee, and I added her, and then as soon as I added her, DMs of like, hey, what are you doing tonight? Hey, you want to meet up? Hey, I'll suck you off. Pretty much, stuff like that. And I was like, guys, who is this Angie Renee? And everybody's reaction was like, oh my god, she messaged you too? I'm like, who is she? She's like, she's gotta be a fake account, a catfish account. I was like, oh, all right. Well, nothing transpired, of course, because I got too scared.
Of course. That's usually predatory behavior.
Yes.
Right there. I mean,
Yeah.
When you guys said that
Yeah, the account
Yeah.
When Jerry was messaging that's being a pedophile.
No. That is true. That is certainly true.
Yeah.
People were getting texts from that account in high school.
Mm.
And I'm gonna be honest, like once you turn 18, yeah, you're an adult, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, if you're, even me at 25, if I'm 25 and I'm dating an 18-year-old, I feel like there might be something wrong there. Just because those are two just different mental, like, ages.
Yeah.
In terms of what you've experienced. You got a ton more life experience than this person. Like, grooming, essentially, is what you're doing in that scenario. And, being a 30, was he 30-some years old?
40.
30s at the time. Late 30s at the time.
Yeah.
Someone more than half your age, a child at 15, you are trying to get with.
Yeah.
That's like scary, predatory, pedophile.
Behavior.
Even Izzy being 18, that is someone like that is kind of disturbing doing that.
Yeah.
Not kind of, that is disturbing doing that.
Yeah. I mean, fake identity, and there was rumors that people thought this account was like a transgender at one time too. That was like another rumor going around. Well, throughout the years, this account would come and go, and we just didn't think nothing of it. At the time when this account would come back, we would poke fun because we knew exactly what the intentions were, so we would just fool around and be funny with it. Well, we didn't hear this account for quite some time, right?
Yeah, it was like a 2-year absence.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, breaking news at Blacksburg, Isi Etute murders a person named Jerry Smith and claimed that it was a catfish situation where he matched on Tinder with an account named Angie Renee.
Yeah, Reddit actually were the ones who broke that.
Right.
And then
Reddit went, when I went through and I was reading some of the Reddit threads and stuff, like there's the Angie Renee aspect of it, but there was also some of the stuff that people were saying about him working at Centro Taco Bar that he was doing there that was outside of Angie Renee.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Some, the examples of the druggings that happened at Centro.
I also heard that, or what I also saw that he would, like, you could almost, like, drug someone there and then take them back to his apartment and fuck them.
Yeah, it's like right next door, Josh.
Yeah. And one of the girls said that she's like, I remember going there and then waking up in this strange person's apartment and like pulling my pants up and leaving, and it was right beside Centro.
Wow.
God.
So like, there's like a whole. I think like a lot of the reactions and stuff, like a lot of the, like I think there's a lot that's been discussed, especially on his side, that like that just wasn't it that he was doing. You know, there was some other stuff. Allegedly, that's not what he went on trial for, but you know, allegedly.
So, not only would he do this to young men, but he would do this to young females. Perhaps, allegedly.
Yeah.
So, when this came out, it was our group chat, mine, Steve's, Matthew's,
couple others.
We were kind of like decoding.
Yeah. We were taking what Reddit was giving us and putting the pieces together, and then at 6 a.m. on like a Wednesday, we had enough information to make a entire podcast episode with.
Yes, and at the time we record every Sunday, but we decided this needs to be recorded now and dropped on the same day.
This has got to get out there.
Yeah.
Before, it wasn't in like an attempt to beat, a certain news outlet from reporting it or the police coming out. We just felt we had to get our experiences with, the alleged catfish account out there to the public.
Because literally, we were at work, and the whole day, every time I would see Steve, I would just giggle at the fact that it was just so insane. That
what have you gotten? What little part of you of just messaging Angie Renee and that being like the only instance has now connected you to like a whole seedy, almost sort of underground sex ring in a way?
Yes.
Inviting people over like that, like you said. Oh man, sitting on the couch watching UFC. Like you could have been Izzy. That could have been you. You could have been over there in a dark room. That could have been you. That could have been any of your friends.
Yeah.
You're just on the off chance that you weren't 18, impressionable, and thinking that you were untouchable by being invited to a college at like
so gullible.
High school age. Yeah, gullible. Like that's that no life experience I'm talking about, man.
Yeah. So we gave our thoughts on the episode, and I'll try and remember to drop a link down in the description of this episode if you want to go and listen to pretty much our, reaction to it.
Yeah, our literally 2 days after response.
Yeah. And it got so crazy that we even had a New York Times reporter reach out to us wanting to speak to us in person in Blacksburg and just lay it all out. And we did, which was insane.
Yeah.
We got messages from other journalists from the New York, or from the Roanoke Times, basically wanting, I think at the time, wanting evidence or screenshots of
messages from,
listeners.
Well, I mean, we had another episode where we talked about like the messages Angie would send, like her tactics of luring young men to wherever she was at.
Yeah.
And they were really interested in that.
Yeah. And like specifically they wanted evidence of like the address where he lived at the time, and I think we ended up somebody sending us that or something. I can't exactly remember. I would have to go through all the old messages from people who reached out to us. But that all happened, and we were dying to know what's going to happen to Etute, because there was rumors that he went a couple months before, had oral sex, left, and then we thought that rumors, people were saying to him, hey, this account is fake, he might be a dude. And he was like, oh, okay. I mean, that's just what our thoughts would have been. So he goes back second time, but he brings 2 other college football players, and I think their names were released.
Yeah, Jalen
finally.
Hampton and Jordan Brunson, who are no longer a part of Virginia Tech's football team.
Oh.
One entered the transfer portal at the end of this year.
I think they're both in there now.
It would make sense, man.
Dang.
Might be time to move on.
Yeah.
And he goes second time, and there is, video footage of the hallway of all 3 of them, there. And then there's footage of Etute sprinting out. And it comes to find out that he discovers that Angie is actually Jerry Smith from Giles County.
Yes, 100%.
Giles County, where we are from. And
That's right.
he is murdered by Etute, face disfigured.
Oh, horribly.
Yes. Stomped.
Yeah. And did he turn himself in?
No, not initially.
Not initially.
No.
Okay.
He actually was in contact with several football players the night of.
Yeah.
Are we trying to reference? Because, there was a couple things that were said, he didn't think he was dead when he left.
Right.
And Jerry wasn't discovered to be found dead until his brother came.
The next day.
Was it the next day? I thought he was on vacation. I thought it was 3 days later.
I think it was the next day.
Alright.
Because I think it happened on Memorial Day, which would have been a Monday. And then the next day, I think they found him, because Wednesday we pieced it all together.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, man, that's a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And, well, he's discovered, deceased at the end of it. And Etute gets arrested, all that. And then I think he gets bonded out. I don't know how much it was, but he's on house arrest this whole time up until the trial. So he goes back home to Williamsburg. So he's in house arrest there. So he, lawyers up with Jimmy Turk.
And when he did that, we knew he had a chance to get out.
Yeah.
We said that on the podcast last year, that he has a much better chance of winning a legal battle with Jimmy Turk versus his appointed attorney, whoever that was at the time.
Yeah. Well, we've been, dying to know, what was going to happen to Etute. And surprisingly, last week, it ends so abruptly.
Yeah.
Yeah, very quickly.
The jury, finds him not guilty on second-degree murder. And that leaves a lot of people, happy, and a lot of people very upset. And actually, before this happened, we thought that it was going to go another way, because me and Steve both get messages from Jimmy Turk's daughter on Facebook wanting us to talk more about our podcast. And I reached out to her and said, The only thing we know is what was said on the podcast. And that's it.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
So we thought...
Appreciate you.
Yeah, so we thought, are they desperate? Well, I mean, this podcast has been out for a long time.
I think that's what I told her. I was like, you just finally found it.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if a New York Times reporter finds
it in a week.
finds it in a week, and you guys who are, you know...
defending demands.
You're just finding it the week before.
What are you doing?
The trial. Jesus.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
You waited too long, baby. That's what you did. You waited way too long.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter
No, it
because
doesn't matter at all right now.
he's not guilty.
Yeah.
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 So, my thoughts, personally, I was shocked because he's not going to be charged with anything. And, you know, there was footage of both families, Etute, you know, their family cheering as they're leaving the court. And then I see Jerry Smith's family, and they're all upset.
Yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of the people in that, you know, you hear about it, it's like losing that family member all over again because you don't have any justice. And, like, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think the more that we get into this, like, there might be opinions that I share or you share or maybe even Hunter shares that no one agrees with.
Yeah.
But, like, at the end of the day, what Jerry Smith did is he was a predator.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a predator. If you want to say that, well, Izzy committed manslaughter, like, you shouldn't kill someone, I might be able to get on the fence with that, like, and see where you're coming from. But, like, I can't tell you how often I hear, especially in people in our community, that if you're a pedophile, you should just be killed. Well, it sounds like Jerry Smith was a pedophile.
Yeah.
And so why is all this energy changing now? Why is it, oh man, he was murdered? Well, it sounds like he also drugged people, helped people get drugged, helped people rape other people, raped people himself. I mean, you know, It doesn't seem like what he did at the end of the day were good things.
Yeah.
And when you put yourself in that situation and somebody finally finds out or somebody finally stands up to you, I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah. Let me see the Runner Times article. And there's footage of, you know, them cheering and stuff. Let's see if I can find a quote from Turk. We will continue to include the Smith family in our prayers. Izzy is extremely grateful for the jury's hard work, deliberation, and verdict. Izzy is now focused on picking up where he left off in his pursuit of a college degree and love for the game of football. Interesting. Izzy says this process gives him trust and faith again in life. He further says it has only helped him become much smarter, wiser, and stronger with a new outlook on life and his journey moving forward. The Smith family quickly left the courthouse on Friday, and Montgomery County Sheriff Deputy Commonwealth Attorney Patrick Jensen declined comment. He referred questions to his boss, Commonwealth Attorney Mary Petit. Etute and his parents headed home from Virginia Beach on Sunday morning to take a deep breath. So yeah, I think that the goal for the next few episodes, because I'm really wanting to find out, did Jerry Smith really do all those other things that were rumored?
It's alleged, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, but if anybody knows, I mean, if you're listening to this and you know anything about Jerry Smith or have any opinions, I mean, Justin, what's the number that they should call?
The Cryptic Hotline, 540-358-1583. If you have history with Jerry, if you have history with Etute even, leave a voice.
If you have history with Angie.
If you have history with Angie, that might be the most important.
Or if you have an opinion. If you just have an opinion, because I'd really like to know what people think, like what their true and honest opinion is.
Yes.
On this, because I do think that this is very different, because it's a young black man murdering an older white man who was trans.
Well,
no.
That's the thing.
No.
That is the thing. He was not trans.
He was openly gay.
Oh.
He was openly gay.
Openly gay. Okay.
He was openly
gay.
Pretending to be a female.
Ooh.
That's
not great.
This is where it gets tricky, because I remember on Twitter, there was back and forth of like transgender communities.
Yes.
They were unaware that he wasn't trans.
Yes.
He was just gay.
They assumed that he was transgender.
The trans Twitter, if I can say that, was literally accusing Etute of beating up a trans person when, in fact, Jerry Smith was never fucking trans to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just ignorant.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that there's a lot of, like, I remember when all this first came out, there were a lot of people jumping to conclusions. There was a lot of ignorant takes from a lot of different people when this first came out, because no one knew anything.
Right. And I posted, well, going back, if you have anything to say about the story, please reach out to the hotline, leave a voicemail, text message, we'll get back to you. If you'd like to for us to share it on the podcast, we will. But I posted some stuff on the Facebook account, and some comments would say, I worked with Jerry a few years ago and was honestly surprised when I found out about this case. So my reaction to that is, his personality might have been a lot different to some people. That,
oh yeah.
And then there's another one. Mr. Smith had applied with the company I worked for a couple years ago on Virginia Tech campus. Did not get a possible take. This comment. Did not get or possibly take the position, not sure which, but came back and told employees if we needed anything, just let him know. Okay, so because allegedly he had a lot of jobs throughout the years. Then this one, which kind of, it's not very good. He won't be safe in Blacksburg. I hope he plans on moving.
Who?
Etute. Another comment on freaking believable. And then same person that did that last one. Virginia has a rich history of ignoring sexual assault and violence. Don't dare drive 5 over, though. They get tough on crime when fines are involved. This guy has some bold statements that may not be.
I'm not really sure what you're trying to get at there.
Yeah.
That this is a traffic state. We only care about traffic crimes here.
Yeah. So,
you see cop cars in the trees in Virginia.
Yeah.
You see cop cars in trees here.
There are literally helicopters, AC-130s, that are running radar above the highway.
Yeah. And other, things that confused us was Izzy being 18 years old, believing that the pictures on this Tinder account of Angie was a 21-year-old female, when clearly the photos, she's at least 40 years old.
I found that, I also was I was like, alright, whenever I was in high school in 2014, almost 10 years ago, I knew better than, I knew about fake accounts and spam and all that. We had learned about it.
Mm-hmm.
Almost 10 years later, what's your excuse as to, if you're just like, bro, I just wanted some, I was down bad, I needed it bad, okay, sure, whatever, but, that is real crazy to me that there wasn't a thought of you that was like, this might not be real.
That's what I was saying, Josh, back in the day when it, the good old days, I'll call them. I'll even call them the good old days. But when we were getting messaged by this account, this lady, Angie Renee, she never told us an age, but it's the same photograph.
Yeah.
No way in hell that's a 21-year-old lady.
The good old days that Hunter is referring to, that's like the Wild West of the internet.
Yeah.
The anything goes. You can literally do anything on the internet in like that time period.
And we were
2014-15.
But we were fully capable of realizing that this is not right.
But the more that we've talked, though, especially in this, it's kind of made me realize, why would you second guess something like that if you do feel you're untouchable? If you feel like you have the entire world at your fingertips, you're this young man on this big campus, you're a football player, like you have literally all this opportunity ahead of you and everything's great, like why would you question that? Maybe, you know, you just don't have you're looking through it from a different pair of glasses. You know, you're not looking at it realistically. You're you got this shock and awe kind of over you in this situation where it's like, man, my life is a movie. I'm the main character. Nothing bad can happen to me.
But still.
Now your movie's a horror movie.
But still, think about it.
Oh yeah, I'm just trying to think.
Yeah.
Of like.
But if he's on top of the world, as a football player, at Tech, you know how many honeys are at Tech that probably want him?
Plenty.
But he chose a catfish account, Angie Renee, 40-year-old photos. It says 21 years old. You know what I mean?
Oh, God.
He got a snow bunny mixed up with a college girl.
Yeah.
It's tough scene. It's really just a tough scene.
Did he learn a lesson? Boy, he learned like one of the toughest lessons out there, you know? The dark side of what that is whenever you don't seriously vet the person. I mean, there are people you can talk to, and they might be real, but you're like, man, you're not giving me enough to go off of. I'm not real sure. I'm not going to divulge a ton of information.
That's why I think the controversial thing is he killed somebody, and the thing is, know who you're going to go see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this was the second time he went to go see Jerry Smith.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the controversial take on it. A lot of people are like, you know, he did, you know, justice. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to be on either side. I just want to know more about this because it's the craziest thing that's ever happened around here pretty much.
Well, and it might give you a closer look. Like, we weren't on that jury, and I don't know if everything, just from what I read, like, there are a couple things that I could see that if I was on the jury, I could be like, okay, because he did meet up with them the first time, and even in the stuff I read, him and his buddies planned on going back a second time to see him.
Yeah.
To, like, they want to know, they're like, I want to know if it's a man or a woman or whatever.
Why would he need two other people, you know?
Like, why would he take other people?
Yeah, why would he?
Well, apparently, they were outside because he said that he had his phone pocket with the flashlight on, walks into Angie's apartment, and I guess bent over or something, pulls out the flashlight, and finds out that Angie is a man. And when he does that, apparently Jerry grabs him by the crotch, reaches over the mattress, and that's when Izzy punches him, he says 5 times, and stomps on his head twice, and then runs out the door.
Yeah.
Now, he said the reason that he punched him for the reaching for the mattress is because where he's from, people keep guns under the mattress just in case something happens. Well, there was a knife found on that side of the mattress, so, you know, when you kind of put all these in if you present that to a jury, then, oh yeah, does that seem like self-defense? I could totally see you making a case, I feared for my life, especially when there was a weapon there that he supposedly feared for.
Yeah.
Well, the only problem with that is Blacksburg Detective Height, I think is what his name was, testified and said that in the interrogation process, Etute mentioned nothing about a knife or a gun or a threat of one or the other. So it's like, okay, was that what happened? Or when they went through the evidence, did they find the knife and they figure out where it was, and then did they just build a case around that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hell, if I was a good lawyer, fuck yeah, I'd build a case around
That's
that.
what it seems like, because he
That's what I would do.
did. Because apparently, when Etute was getting interrogated, he never mentioned any of that.
No.
That's the thing about law and justice. The law is not just, and justice is not law. You don't really know. Like it's very well possible that what I said is the case, and he did genuinely fear for his life, and there was a weapon there and everything. Could not be. Maybe they did show up with a chance of we're gonna beat this guy to death or something. But how do you know?
Yeah, but
maybe we'll get to the bottom.
yeah,
of that.
that's the thing. Like, think about it. He goes first time alone. He probably hears rumors about this account, so he brings his buddies along. Hey, if I need you, you're here with me for the second time. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you also
Did he bring intentions?
To me, what Jerry Smith is doing is already a violent act.
Yeah.
It may not. It's sexually violent. I mean, he did sexually assault these people.
Yeah.
He didn't disclose his sexual identity. He didn't do any of that. Like, he tricked these people into having sex with him.
God knows how many he did.
Exactly. You don't know how many people that he really did go after. So, like,
It
if
could
they
be
showed
bad.
up with the intention of, oh, this guy raped me,
Yeah.
he raped me essentially, then yeah, I'm gonna beat his ass. But even then, it's like, I guess it's like, I understand manslaughter or stuff, or even getting probation or whatever, but like, it's not like Jerry Smith did something great or has like something you could write off as like, okay, I could see why. Like, everything he did in this situation was equally wrong, if not worse wrong, because he took advantage at 40 years old of an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that we can dive into more of Jerry Smith, and if he, how long has he been doing this, like, before, us?
Yeah.
Like, how long has he been trying to, like, have this fake identity, tricking, young people, underage people, into doing something
But
so
there's
evil.
something that in that comment you read of that lady who was like, oh, he didn't get the job or whatever, but he came back and said, oh, if you need us or whatever. I'm not going to compare John Wayne Gacy to serial killers or anything like that. Or John Wayne Gacy, Jerry Smith, sorry.
Yeah.
Jerry Smith to John Wayne Gacy. Just because John Wayne Gacy was an active guy in his community, from some stuff I read, Jerry Smith, he was a good worker at his restaurant. People liked.
That's what I'm saying.
People liked working with him and everything.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the urge to commit whatever act that you're going to commit, whether it be rape, sexual assault, murder, anything like that, that need is bigger than getting caught. Getting caught or anything else does not matter to you. What matters is whatever you're trying to do in this scenario.
Yeah.
And even if you, like you guys said, if you were clowning Jerry Smith on the couch, giving him like the business or whatever, and he still messages you later trying to get with you,
Yeah. That's a problem. He had a problem. Sick
that's
problem.
a problem. Yeah, that's a problem.
So, my take on it is both sides not good. Not good.
Both sides not good, but please talk to us.
Yeah. We just, because it's the most bizarre thing I've ever heard, and there's so much that probably hasn't been discovered and said, and that's the goal I think that we're going to try and get at.
Yeah. And also, like, if we're just getting everyone's interactions, like, from the stuff we said, we might have different opinions than what you believe.
Yeah.
But, like, if you give us your opinion, I'm not going to argue with you about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or anything. Like, we genuinely are interested in knowing more about Jerry Smith or Etute, or, just the situation as a whole, just interactions. Like, that's what we want to know.
Yeah. And even if this might be crazy, even if you actually did meet up with this Angie Renee account, and if you're willing to share, I can leave your name anonymous.
Yeah, total anonymity.
Yeah. If you just wish to share, I will do that. But yeah. I mean, that's all I have, because I think that the next couple episodes we'll do some breakdown episodes of, really diving into the story behind Jerry Smith, because a lot of people knew him.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was not one of those people. I had no earthly idea who this man was.
Yeah.
Same.
But good God, if I didn't know Angie.
We knew Angie. We knew Angie well.
We were well versed in Angie Renee.
Yeah. Josh, I hate that you didn't know Angie.
I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. It doesn't seem like this is the person that I wanted to meet.
No.
Josh, she in her messages, she was willing to treat you right on your worst day, pal.
Hey, I'm glad that I haven't had that worst day, brother.
Jesus.
Tongue-in-cheek, people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to bring some humor to a dark, scary place.
Yeah.
This room right here.
Well, I mean, it's just so ridiculous. I mean, it's hard to not be like, this is
fucking hilarious.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's wild, dude. It's wild. It's like what we were talking about in the beginning, though. Like, it hasn't, like, I don't think this isn't a big national story, I don't think it's really on, like, big national news.
It almost was.
It was on Sports Illustrated, the trial. I did see that.
Yeah, but, like, I didn't get a CNN breaking news.
Right.
Yeah.
Or, like, anything like that. Like, I didn't get anything from that. I haven't seen any news outlets. Like, I haven't seen Fox News say anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I haven't seen anything from, like, big major outlets.
You haven't seen Rogan talk about it?
No, yeah.
I mean, we're talking about it, so
Yeah.
it's pretty important,
Yeah. So, I don't know when the next episode will be out, because I think that there'll be a lot to do for the next episode.
Yeah, there's
Reaching out to people, interviews, all that jazz.
Yeah, we'll definitely we'll have to break it down.
Yeah.
What do they say? Bust it down, Tatiana.
Yep.
That's what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to bust it down.
Bust it.
Tatiana.
Oh, yeah.
Bust it down.
Yeah.
Bust it.
Yes.
And my Valenciennes.
Yeah. So, I guess the housekeeping stuff, if, like we said, if you want to share, call the hotline, message the social medias. Hotline's 540-358-1583.
Damn, that's so good.
Yep.
I'm hearing it.
I got it memorized.
Maybe I need to memorize it.
Right.
Just so much, and you're so good at it.
Thanks. I've been doing it every episode.
Multiple times an episode, too.
Yeah. Steve, thanks for reuniting with me. It's been a
Yeah, I
while.
didn't have anything else to do. My life has went to pure hell ever since I stopped podcasting.
You gotta have wrist surgery?
I gotta have a big procedure, wreck my car.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Jeez.
we're spiraling out of control. Maybe this can provide some stability.
Yeah. A little tune-up.
It's like Justin's two loves have come to reconnect with each other.
Yeah. But thanks for being on, Steve.
Sure thing, pal.
I'm sure people get a kick out of,
I've been gone a few weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe they had a longing for my voice.
They missed you.
Maybe, perhaps, I don't know. That's up to them. So.
Josh, just, stay safe out there with the feral people, dog men, COVID.
Yeah. You gotta, if it's not being attacked by feral people or drug into the wilderness trying to find a dog man,
Steve has no idea what you're talking about.
Dog man.
Yeah. They're like,
then you gotta, it's cryptic out there.
Yeah.
That's all I can say, it's cryptic out there.
you beat me to it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for listening, watching. Wow. The watching. But lastly, watch your back. It's cryptic out there.